whether it is physically, mentally, or spiritually. When you know better, you can do better. And when you do better, you'll be better. On this podcast, we share knowledge, expertise, opinions, and experiences. All things that can help you to change the game. By the time we're done, it's hard for you not to be encouraged. So join us. The better you are, the better you are.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for supporting our program. We hope that it's encouraging and uplifting for you. Today, we are going to talk about health, nutrition, fitness, and exercise. Our guest today is uniquely qualified to talk about these topics. She is Alta Skelton, the Director of Fully Armored Family Health and Fitness in Carmel, Indiana. Alta is a board-certified family nurse practitioner with master's degrees and advanced certifications in integrative medicine and advanced cardiology. Her faith, her fascination with the knowledge of the human body, and her love for people are what motivate her to share that knowledge with others in order to help them improve their health mentally, physically, and spiritually. We're very excited to have her with us today, and we hope this is encouraging and helpful for you. So let's get started.
All right. So these are ways that resistance training helps. Movement matters. You have to start somewhere. If right now you're not doing any movement, just move. So we've been sitting for a few seconds, so go ahead and stand up for me, please. I'm not going to make you do push-ups, I promise. So one of the ways, especially if you sit all day and you're on a computer, it's important to look in the opposite direction, get movement in your neck, up and down, ear to shoulder, and so you're just moving, okay? And then roll those shoulders back, they get tense. We don't, so some people have what we call the Dowager's hump in the back. And think about this, and kids, I know we have some kids here, boy, on the tablets, computers, cell phones, hunched over, so roll those shoulders back, because you know that your ear should be in alignment with your shoulder. And so if you're doing this all day, your ear's here, your shoulder's back there, so roll those shoulders back, all right, and then do some arm circles. Just don't hit your neighbor. So good. And then the other way. Excellent. Now, you've just now stimulated your brain to say, oh, that's movement. That's good. All right, thank you. Okay. So, move. So, this last thing I'm going to talk about is your cellular health. This is a busy slide. It's got a lot of information on here. But our cells regenerate on a daily basis, hourly basis, and that's one of the other reasons to drink water, is to flush out the bad cells. And that's one reason why we have to have bowel movements every day, because if not, we are really literally toxic, so we have to flush things out. So we make something called mTOR, and there's something called intermittent fasting. Have you guys heard about intermittent fasting? Here's why that's good. Because of the fact that when our body doesn't have food, it can now focus on other things like a healthier brain. So you know how when you eat, you get really sleepy sometimes, you're like, oh, just take a nap, especially if you're eating something heavy or carb-laden. So what can happen is that you can build and burn existing calories, burn those existing calories, and then when you do eat, all you're focusing on is the calories that you're taking in, and you're not carrying over calories from the last few meals. So one way to do that is, for brain health, it's important to at least fast for 12 hours, okay? That means if you go to bed at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., then your next meal would be 7 a.m. So that means at the end of the day, you have to have a hard stop. So how many of us snack after that meal? And you're like, oh, it's just popcorn. And it's just skinny pop. Well, there's still calories. So try to cut off 3 hours before you go to bed, before you eat something else. 3 hours. Because our brain detoxes, we create mTOR, we start burning, we call it rest, digest, restore. And now we're restoring. And do you know that's why it's important to sleep? Do you know that that's the only time our brain detoxes is when we're sleeping? So we go to sleep, our brain detoxes, and we restore, and we're ready for the next day. Okay? So that's why cellular health is healthy. So the root of all diseases is inflammation. Keep that inflammation down by what we eat, because sugar inflames us. Sugar feeds cancer cells. Sugar bogs us down, and it also creates more of that cortisol that we were talking about. And let's talk about 2 things: leaky gut and inflammation. So here's some natural things to help inflammation. Turmeric, you can put that on your food. Australia, ginger, vitamin B, magnesium. What is leaky gut? Leaky gut is when we take in things that are not good and healthy. There's a layer that lines the gut, and it's protective, and it doesn't let very many things through. So one of the things that we do is we check food sensitivities to see what food you might be sensitive to. And every time you eat that food, you might have joint pain. You're like, gosh, why do my joints ache? And I wake up in the morning and I'm stiff all over. It could be the food that you're eating. So with food sensitivity, you eat that food, and then it gets past that barrier because it's broken down time and time again. That food is just like a bacteria or a virus to our body. So what does it do? It attacks it. So leaky gut is caused by things that we eat. If we've been on antibiotics before, if we've been on medication that is toxic, if we are on an antibiotic, it's important to take a probiotic. So now this lining here is going to be protected. And it's like this, it's tight. And it's not going to let anything through. So sometimes we forget to say, take that probiotic 2 hours after that antibiotic to prevent the leaky gut. Because when things start getting through, that's when it causes inflammation. So that's what leaky gut is. So foods that can cause inflammation. So this is why with this salad that we have goat cheese, which is different from dairy, from cow cheese. Think about this, not my mom, not my milk. Dairy can be very inflammatory. It has oftentimes a lot of hormones in it, and hormones can disrupt. So eggs, alcohol, red meat, refined sugar, fried foods, trans fats, foods that are high glycemic, meaning that it spikes the blood sugar really quickly, gluten. So I always like to try to think about gluten-free, dairy-free, a good way to stay healthy and uninflamed. So here are foods that can decrease inflammation. Wild-caught salmon. If it's not wild-caught, please don't buy it, because it can be filled with toxins. Ginger, garlic, cruciferous vegetables. So this salad has Brussels sprouts in there, which is a cruciferous vegetable. Cruciferous vegetables help to detox. Okay? Ginger, garlic, sweet potatoes, turmeric, green tea. Try to have 3 cups of green tea a day. And not the green tea that is sweetened, even with artificial sweeteners. Try to have just green tea, make your own at home, organic. Blueberries, kelp, and then extra virgin olive oil. So make your own salad dressings. Don't go buy the expensive salad dressings. So this salad dressing has apple cider vinegar, olive oil, just barely little salt and pepper, and that's it. So get things in your system that are anti-inflammatory. And it kind of goes all the way back to that first slide. We've got to change our mindset about what we're eating. We need to eat to live and not live to eat. So when you go grab for something, is that really healthy? Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. It takes some discipline to get there. So, in closing, make sure that you're an advocate for your own health. Part of that starts as a mindset change. But even in your own health, when you go to your provider, whoever your provider is, you know what I want you to do? They are paid to help you. I want you to get out your pad and pencil. When you go to them, write down your questions. If you don't have your questions answered by the end, they haven't done their job. If they run out of time, make another appointment. And then say, hey, you know what? I didn't get all my questions answered. Can I come back? Be an advocate for your own health, because guess what? Sometimes as soon as you walk in the room, there's already a bias there. And you've got to be that advocate. Ask those questions. Make sure that you are satisfied with those answers. Take notes. Ask for clarification. If you don't understand something that someone's telling you about your health, ask for a clarification. Say, you know what, I really don't understand that. Can you break it down? And people that care are going to be able to break it down for you so that you can understand it. So now I hope you understand more about insulin resistance, diabetes. You can avoid all of those things. Hypertension, it never has to be. Yes, there's some genetics along with that, but there's also what we call epigenetics to say, here's my genetics, and here's the things I can do to prevent that. Okay? So be your own advocate. So, any questions about anything? Yes?
Okay, the sleeping, I do well, and sometimes I have a lot going on. What do you think about melatonin?
You know what? I'd rather you sleep and take melatonin than not sleep, because then that cortisol is going to build up. And then another thing, some other things that are really good: lemon balm, magnesium, L-theanine. So L-theanine is one of those. It's in green tea, by the way, and it tells the mind, okay, stop racing, because that's often what happens. We get still when things start going. So magnesium, you can take up to 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight in magnesium, as long as you don't have the effects of, causing loose stools. So that sleep is huge. That's a very good question. Yes.
Was there someone else back here?
Yeah, I can check that to you.
Oh, after the sleep. For me, my body needs enough rest, but my mind never shuts down. What do I do about that?
That's where I want you to, it's called L, the letter L, and then theanine. So L-theanine is very good for that mind racing. Also, there's something called GABA. And these are things that typically you can get from a health food store. GABA, G-A-B-A. So GABA is a neurotransmitter in our brain that is calming. So sometimes we don't have enough GABA in our brain, and so we're just like on edge. So GABA helps to really calm things down.
So is that in a capsule?
Is in a capsule. And that magnesium is also good. And that one you can take in a powder or a capsule. Yeah. Did you have a question? Yes. Hi.
You said the 12 hours. In the 12 hours, you said no eating. Is that eliminating the water that we drink, or that's counting?
Water only.
Okay, that's
Yeah, either, yes, water, or you can have some like green tea in that time, something that doesn't have calories.
Okay.
So, yes, at least 12 hours. Some people go further than that, but if you go further than that, you need to be talking with your healthcare provider to see if it's good for you. But that minimum, the main thing I want you to think about is don't do the snacking at night.
No, that's what I'm saying. At night, the water counted as 0. I'm fine if you can do that without water.
Yes.
I mean, drink water, I'm fine. Okay.
Yep. Yes.
I have a question about probiotics.
Yes.
So recently I was told I had antibiotics and I was told to take probiotics. So my question is that I'm very new to probiotics. So so that I added it to my supplements, but should you only be taking it when you're taking antibiotics?
Good question. No, you should take it all the time. And then as a matter of fact, what I usually say is rotate your probiotics. So because on the back, you'll see that it's different strains. It'll say lactobacillus, and it'll say bifidobacter, and then, so all these Saccharomyces boulardii. So you'll see all these different strains. So what you do is you say, okay, this bottle this month, and then the next month we're going to get another bottle that has different strains. And now that we call it the diversity of the biome, and so you get that diversity going. So anything that comes at it is like, nope, I've seen this, I can get rid of this. Very good question. And when you do take an antibiotic, it should be 2 hours away that you take the probiotic. So if you take it at 6 a.m., then 8 a.m., so it doesn't interfere.
One more question. So the GABA, is that GABA?
Yes.
Okay. And could that be good for anxiety?
It can be good for anxiety. It sure can. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So for social media, you said I don't want to know my phone, so I'm not. There's not a time when I'll have. So like I don't like going to sleep, so I'll stay up till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like not even like 7. What do you say about social media usage? Like
I'm so glad you
I
asked.
stay on my phone. I'm addicted to TikTok, so if I'm on my phone, it'll go. The time goes by fast. So if it's 12 a.m., it's gonna be 1 o'clock. And then it's like during the day, I'm a coffee drinker, so I love coffee. So I'm like Red Bull. What do you say about that?
Okay, so good. 2 great things. Okay, so if sometimes I'm forced to work on my computer at night too, if I'm finishing up charts and all that. So blue blocking glasses, okay? They have to have the amber colored lenses. There are some blue blocking glasses that have a blue tint, but that's not what you want. By 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest, you need to be putting on those blue blocking glasses. So Amazon, I think they're $20, $30. Now, you're not going to set a fashion statement, just to let you know, because they're not pretty. Here's why that's important. It's called pineal. There's a pineal gland in the brain. And these lights tell the pineal gland not to make melatonin, speaking of melatonin. So it suppresses melatonin so we can be awake. Now, at night though, when we're on the screens and social media and our phone or tablet, the light is still telling our pineal gland not to make melatonin. So you feel like I could just do this all night. That's because you probably could, because melatonin is suppressed. However, if you put the blue blocking glasses on, it tells that pineal gland, oh, it blocks the blue light, and now melatonin starts to increase. So now the brain calms down. So one of the things you can do if you're having a hard time sleeping, and they can go over glasses if you need to wear glasses, put your blue blocking glasses on. 8 o'clock minimum. 7:30 is usually when I have mine on. But by 8 o'clock, put those on. So if you're on social media and you put that on, now what's going to happen is you're not going to get really drowsy, but your brain's going to say, okay, it's time to cut it off.
Yeah, because I was sleeping until like 2 in the morning.
Yes.
I was sleeping until 2.
Exactly.
So I'll run off of like, maybe I'll run off of 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
And guess what's building up? Cortisol. So cortisol, so it is, here's the kidneys, and on the top of the kidneys are the adrenal glands, and it secretes cortisol. And cortisol is that fight or flight hormone. So by 11 p.m., if you're not asleep, so cortisol is high in the morning, and it goes down at night. But if you're not asleep, it goes, oh, you're not asleep? Let's run from the tiger again. And all of a sudden, blood sugar starts going up. Blood pressure starts going up. So get some blue blocking glasses, and then try to retrain yourself to go back to sleep and get those hours of sleep in. And then another thing about phones, cell phones. So I have to have my cell phone on, right? Because if I'm on call, I get to answer the phone. I have it in my bathroom, door closed. The EMFs, that's the electronic magnetic fields that's secreted from the cell phones, also affect the brain and keep you stimulated. So as you're looking at that phone, those EMFs, your brain is being stimulated. So it's best to keep the phone, hear it, keep it on where you can hear it, to keep it away from the bedside. So try to think about backing that time up. I know you think it's impossible now. Get those blue blocking glasses, you'll see. Because also it starts causing weight gain because that cortisol goes up. And why does it cause the blood sugar to go up? Here's why that happens. It's so important. I love talking about the why behind things. So your body goes, oh, you're not going to sleep? Well, you need some energy. So it gets the sugar from your liver. You don't have to be eating sugar all night long for your blood sugar to go up. I have patients ask me, why is my blood sugar so high in the morning when I was supposed to be asleep? And I'll say, okay, how many hours this night did you sleep? How many times did you have to get up in the middle of the night? If that's happening, then cortisol goes up. It gets sugar from the liver. Now, where's that sugar going to go? It's just going to collect. It's not going anywhere because you're not using that energy. It's going to collect. Amy had a question.
Can you go over the fasting again? I didn't get completely understand what you're saying with fasting.
Yes. So, minimum 12 hours that you want to fast. Now, here's just to say this too. If you are diabetic, before you do any fasting, it's important for you to check with your provider first, because for instance, if you're taking insulin, you don't want to fast too long because your blood sugar is going to drop. But in general, 12 hours fasting, okay? So if you stop eating at 7 p.m., your next meal should not be until 7 a.m. So you want a 12-hour window of not eating. And then you want a 3-hour window from the time you go to bed, or the time you stop eating to the time you go to bed. So if you stop eating at 7, don't crawl into bed at 8, because now you've got, that sugar has nowhere to go. Those calories have nowhere to go. By the time you get to sleep, all you want to be doing is detoxing the brain. You don't want to be digesting the food that you just ate. So try to keep your time that you eat, have a hard stop. What time do you normally stop eating?
That's difficult.
Okay, so,
Around 7 or 8 o'clock.
okay, and say that you have a late night, because it's not always possible, right? So if you stop, say, I'll go as late as, say, 10 o'clock. That's okay. Then just don't eat until 10 o'clock the next morning. So keep that, try to keep that window. But stay hydrated during that time. Water, water, water. Yes.
I am hypoglycemic, and if anybody has ever experienced when your blood sugar drops, it's a scary feeling. It's just like somebody unplugs you. And so I have an endocrinologist and primary care physician, and they're not always on one accord with how to treat it. One says to keep glucose pills on you, and the other says keep protein. Go with protein.
Protein. Protein. There's been a misnomer for years. Even registered dietitians don't always get it right. They say grab that sugar, but what's going to happen? It's going to spike you. Right, it's going to spike you, and then it's going to drop you real fast. Protein is low glycemic, meaning it'll go up a little bit, and then gradually it's going to increase your blood sugar, and then it's going to keep it steady. But if you eat a bunch of sugar, it's just going to do this, and then when it drops, you're going to be so hungry, you're going to crash. So it's always important for anybody who's hypoglycemic to have protein all day long. All day long. And your carbs are going to be low. Low carbs.
What do you with that? So peanuts,
You know, even better. Okay, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy.
I don't eat cheese.
You're gonna think I'm crazy. But if my purse was big enough, and I don't have my purse with me today, if I have a big enough purse, guess what's in my purse? A can of sardines. Okay, or a packet of tuna. Fish. No, you're allergic to fish? Okay, so have you ever heard of chopsticks?
Yes.
Chopsticks. Carry them with you all the time. Do you like fish?
Yes, I don't like cheese, so it's all right.
Do that. And the thing is, you know that mindset thing? You gotta get used to thinking, wait a minute, I need protein. Now, not everybody's gonna eat sardines, I get it. I totally get it. But it's one of the most nutriently dense foods you can eat. Guess what? It's packed full of protein. It's got 23 grams of protein in a can of sardines, 0 carbs. And guess what it's gonna help you make? More muscle. So now you're gonna be less insulin resistant. Now, if you're allergic to fish, all bets are off. You cannot. But you can get some of those little chopsticks. The reason why I say chomps is because they are lower in sodium, because you don't want to, some of those are just really high in sodium. So look at the sodium count. Okay. But protein. Another thing you can do, do you like eggs? You don't like eggs? There's something called Just Egg. And Just Eggs made by Moonbeam. You can make quiche, you can make little cups. So what you do is you can buy it at Kroger, Whole Foods, Fresh Time, and it's in a little carton. And so with that, you get your pan full of, like you are gonna make cupcakes, and you chop up some veggies, and you pour your Just Egg as liquid, and then you put your veggies in there, and then you fill up your little muffin tins. Now, and then you can freeze them. If you're hungry, grab one of those and thaw it out, eat that. Now you've got your protein and veggies just like that. Yes.
Somebody got there.
When she's
Okay. Decaffeinated teas and coffee, do you lose anything?
So actually, that's a good thing. And herbal teas are automatically caffeine free. Herbal teas don't have caffeine. But caffeine, somebody said they liked a lot of caffeine. Caffeine acts as a sugar. And it will also spike the blood sugar.
So regular green tea does not have caffeine?
It has a very small amount, way less than a cup of coffee. Just a very small amount of caffeine.
What about the black teas?
And black teas they're good too, and they have lower amounts. Also, one of the things about teas, look to make sure it says acid free, because you know coffee and tea can be very acidic and then upset the stomach.
So how would I know that if I got
Loose leaf, it should still tell you on the box.
Okay, what's your take on mushroom coffee?
Yeah, mushroom coffee is good. It's a good alternative
It's a good alternative
to regular coffee because it has no caffeine.
Okay. And urination, this is my last question. How often should you urinate?
As often as you're drinking this water, if you're drinking as much, is another very good question. I would be having 3 bowel, well, at least 1 bowel movement a day. Don't go past 3 days. And if you're drinking enough water, you're going to be going a lot. If you're not, then you're not filtering.
So should I cut off my water intake at a certain time so I won't have to get up in the middle of the night?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
If that's causing you to get up in the middle of the night, then yes, you need to cut it off. You all have been amazing. While we're packing up, if you have more questions, feel free to come up. Yes. Yes. I will make sure that.
Pastor Derek.
Okay.
You should give them to Pastor Derek, and then he'll post them.
Just email them to.
Perfect. Yeah. Absolutely.
I will say this. This is awesome. Did you guys enjoy this?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And I learn a lot. I don't care how educated you are on nutrition or whatever. It just is valuable. I think you can always learn something from it. I know you do cooking demonstrations.
Yes.
I know you do other things at your office. Is that open to anybody?
Yes. So what we do is there is a sign-on. He's my IT person that does all of that. But so 10:30 to 11:30, I have exercise classes at the office. And then immediately following that, we do cooking classes. And so, yes, come learn more about, and then what we do, as I'm feeding you, I'm demonstrating when I'm cooking. And then, yes, we lift weights and exercise classes and you guys are enjoying. So, yes.
Thank you for listening in today. Weren't you inspired, encouraged, and uplifted? We hope so, because we're praying the best for you. Join us again next time for more betterment, because the better you are, the better you are.